Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Symbiote Spider-Man from the Kingpin Build-A-Figure wave. Here we have Spider-Man in the front window. We get the Spider-Man logo, his name, we get the extra accessories and the heads there for the Build-A-Figure. We get some very cool artwork on both sides, and then in the back we do get a product shot as well as all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Kingpin Build-A-Figure. And then up the top we do have the read-up. The Venom symbiote gives Peter Parker a black suit with special enhanced powers. And at the bottom, we do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's get this open and take a look at Spider-Man. And here he is outside of his packaging, and I actually am really glad that Hasbro gave us both this figure and that Red Goblin figure. It was a pretty cool storyline there towards the end of the legacy run of the Amazing Spider-Man that they introduced the Red Goblin and this particular variation of the Spider-Man symbiote costume. Essentially, he just gets this costume back, or the symbiote back, so that he can really fight Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin. So I think that's actually really cool and pretty quick how they got this variation out to us as well. As I want to say that came out not that long ago, maybe within the last year. It is a pretty cool design. This particular figure is coming in when standing straight up at about 6¼ inches tall, which puts him at almost 16 centimeters, about 15.8 centimeters. So the average size for a Spider-Man character. He does come with an extra pair of hands, so we'll take a look at those. And then, of course, he does come with the Build-A-Figure piece, but we're not going to look at that until we actually build the Kingpin Build-A-Figure. So let's go ahead first and take a look at those additional hands, and then we'll get a closer look at Spider-Man. And the Symbiote Spider-Man does come with the two sets of hands. So we get the fisted hands, which we can see we get the little diamond look there on the back side as opposed to the standard square. And then you do get these claw hands, which came out looking really cool. I like it. And you still get that same diamond paint on there. Just like with any other Marvel Legends figure, you're just going to go ahead and pop that in right there. And then same thing with the claw hand, nothing weird there, just ports right in. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look now at Spider-Man. So looking up close and checking out this updated symbiote suit, we can see the biggest change, of course, is in the eyes. And it translates pretty well here, I think. The comic book had them coming a little bit more straight out. This does still have them coming back a little bit. Which I think that's probably a matter of having enough real estate to glue the eyes on without having them feel like they're coming off. But otherwise, the head looks just fine. I mean, it's a Spider-Man mask. It looks like I got a little dent in mine there. Not too bad on the flashing. It's a little bit more noticeable on that side. And, well, I guess it's there. I didn't notice it at first. But, man, looks like he's got all sorts of little dings on his head for this one. But otherwise, the sculpt work is really not all that complicated, and I think it looks pretty cool. Looking at the updated chest logo design, we can see we get something that is a little bit more stylized. And unfortunately, on mine, we can see there's a few spots where the black is coming through. But I still think it came out looking cool. You got the top two legs coming further up and across the chest, and the bottom two legs just shooting down. And then you get very triangular shapes for the head and the abdomen there of the spider. And then, of course, that design does continue right onto the back. And it actually, yeah, they're going all the way down to the belt line on both sides. So, and it is using the pizza Spidey mold, so we've seen just sort of this slim design before. And then there's just another look at the claw hand with the diamond pattern on the side and the fisted hand. And then you got just legs. There's nothing there. And he does have a more, I think this might have been the Superior Venom that we saw these feet before with the monster-looking toes. So, yeah, I do like this design, though. I think it is pretty cool. Looking at the articulation, so you do have a head, of course, that can go side to side with no issue there. He can bury his chin pretty far. He can look up very far. You do have arms that can come up. Yeah, we're at about 90 degrees there. He does have butterfly joints, so you can go pretty far back and pretty far forward there. You do have a bicep swivel, double-jointed elbow. Man, a little stiff. And then you do have rotation and a hinge on each of the hands. And of course, I didn't mention, but you do have full rotation on the shoulder as well. He can ab crunch down quite a ways, ab crunch back quite a ways. He does have waist rotation, legs that can come apart about that far. He can kick forward actually quite a ways. He's got a very high kick there, but he doesn't have hardly any going backwards. Do have a upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and then he does have a hinge and ankle pivot. And for a quick comparison, you can see the symbiote suit Spider-Man from the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave standing next to this new symbiote Spider-Man, and you can see the design changes that I was talking about with things just being more angular and those top legs going all the way around. So very cool contrast though, but a nice update to a classic design in my opinion. And finally, we have all the figures in this wave standing next to each other, starting at the left with Puma, followed by Black Cat, Silver Sable, the Kingpin Build-A-Figure, Night Thrasher, the Six-Armed Spider-Man, the Symbiote Spider-Man, and Red Goblin. And that about does it for this review, everyone. And overall, I actually don't mind that we got another symbiote suit Spider-Man, especially with it being this version. I actually did read that storyline and the Amazing Spider-Man run that they had been doing when it was Parker Industries, and you had the Clone Saga, or not the Clone Saga, what was it? The Clone Conspiracy, all the way up through the whole Red Goblin story. I haven't been reading any of the later Marvel stuff for the, I think they call it Fresh Start. But either way, it's still a cool figure, and it's still a cool design, and the fact that they gave us the Red Goblin figure in this wave lets us at least pair those two together for some really cool scenes. And of course, it's using that Pizza Spidey mold, so you can get some really cool poses like what we have here. But as I mentioned, that is it for the review. So if you like this review, please hit that like button. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe for more just like this. And aside from that, thanks for watching my video, and have a great day.